Podcast time. Glenn Power is here from POWERWORKS Automotive, which means for the next little bit, we're going to talk cars. We're going to basically solve the automotive issues of the world and possibly beyond. If Will Shatner can go up...
The Mars rover.
Yeah, if Will Shatner can go up into space, we can solve the problems of the world.
Nobody's been space. It's all a conspiracy.
And that's how this show starts. We're talking cars. And so buckle up and enjoy. And it's all coming to you from the podcast studio right here at the Rove Hotel downtown. So, yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah.
Show's over.
Lots to talk about. And let's fill people's brains with mindless nonsense.
There's, you know what? There's no mindless nonsense to be had. I think it's kind of cool when you're getting envy in the parking lot. And I was in the parking lot today, and I was a little envious of the other Jeep Wrangler that was parked there, a nice red one. Now, just because I kind of thought it would be nice to be able to have a red and a yellow one.
Right.
It was it was a Sahara hardtop, and he actually had the front two panels off on the roof, so you know that the weather's getting good here when people are taking off those front panels. So that's
definitely,
nice. It's very nice.
Definitely good weather. We're very, very close to perfect weather, aren't we?
Yeah.
Not far away.
So are people now, are little things starting to go wrong on cars as the plastics and rubbers and things are not getting as supple and soft as they were with the hotter temperatures?
We've got, people start to put the windows down again.
Yeah.
So these things every year, you get problems with windows squeaking or...
Yeah.
And there's always that whole thing of, it was all right till you serviced it, or one of those situations. But when you don't use something for so long, which we don't here, it's the same with convertible roofs, power windows, even like you say, people taking the doors out and putting the convertible tops and stuff on, and the Wranglers tend to be less of a problem because people don't have as much expectation, and they've probably done it for the last 5 years in a row, and they understand that it's going to be a bit dusty and it's going to be a bit squeaky and it's going to be a little bit not exactly riding around in a Bentley, obviously. But when you bring your car in for a service and then you take the car away and think, I picked it up at 5:30 and it's nice weather, I'm going to put the window down instead of the AC on. Especially when you've been frozen to death in our office, then it's like, oh, that didn't used to squeak. What have these guys done? Well, we haven't done anything to the window. It's just you've not used it for 4, 5, 6 months. And rubbers do dry out. They do get very sticky sometimes and split and shrink, and dust gets in there behind where they've shrunk, and then things wear out. And the Wrangler is an example. You've probably had, I would imagine, all of your window regulators replaced on the Jeep, right?
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah. So, on both of them, probably.
No, the other one's got old school. So thank God, God, because that would.
But yeah, that's just the way it is. The dust gets in there, the sand gets in there, the heat gets in there, and that's it. It's curtains. So these things happen after not being used, and it's no different in terms of. In about 6 months' time, when people start turning their AC back on again.
So this is the time of the year to actually be exercising this preventative tool. And look, if you're in a cold climate, you need to do this as well.
Yeah.
Is make sure, we're giving this is the pro tip of the day. Make sure every now and then you turn on the air conditioning. And if it's freezing cold where you're living and listening to this, just turn the thermostat up to the heat option. And your air conditioner will still be operating, but it's going to be pumping out. It's not going to be really cooling. It's not going to cool at all. Yeah. But it's going to be working the liquids. It's going to be working all of the seals, and things will stay lubricated.
Yeah, a lot of most of certainly the European stuff, but not exclusively anymore. But a lot of them now have. You can't really turn the AC off, so the compressor stays running about between 3 and 10%. Effectiveness, really, if you want to use that word,
which is kind of nice,
even when it's off, and it just keeps it going. And
wear and tear though on the compressor.
Yes and no. It's not over. It's not dealing with huge pressures. it keeps the oil circulating, stops you getting issues with that. The thing with AC, that a lot of markets, the AC's main benefit isn't for cooling, it's for dehumidifying.
Yeah.
So that's the main purpose of it, to keep your windscreen from fogging up.
And people don't realize that when it's, especially in North America, you start getting a foggy windshield and so put on the AC.
Yeah.
If your system isn't running with the AC already, just turn on the AC and keep the heat up.
Leave the AC on and turn the temperature up, and the air that comes out will be diverted through the warm setting, but it will still pass through.
Yeah.
On the evaporating, it'll help to dehumidify and stop that windscreen misting up, which is a nightmare.
It's hard.
I've been there. Like, I lived in the UK. It's just one of those things. You get up in the morning and it's like, oh no, it's just cold. You scrape the ice off the window and get driving, and then it's just like you're looking through this much space where the actual hot air's coming out of the windscreen. Onto the windscreen.
Or I always find the side windows. You try. I got to look out the mirror. I do have to see the mirror, and you're trying to clear some of the. And then you put the window down. You lift it. It's just a mess.
Yeah. So it's not easy, but the AC helps with that definitely, and that's one of the reasons for having AC on. It's relatively cheap to fit now. Very, very, very efficient.
Does any car come without AC?
I'm sure they do still, especially in Europe and North America.
I guess the base model. I'm just thinking they're all fitted with AC now.
Yeah, it's so efficient now. Yeah. But when some of the internal combustion cars that have gone down to 2 and 3 cylinders, I'm sure there are options without AC just to squeeze as much fuel efficiency out of them as you can. And you don't, for the 2 days a year in the UK when you need it.
I was just thinking, I'm laughing because I've just got this vision in my head. So I got an old schoolmate who I haven't seen in years, but I see him on Instagram. Hasn't changed a day. Paul Smith looks the same. I'm just going, man, it's like guy hasn't changed. He's like 40 years older than he was when we went to school. It looks the same. And he works at a Hyundai dealership, and I can just see him saying, "Yeah, free AC," and he hands people 2 Thailand fans.
Exactly, yeah.
Free AC included, and he just hands you the 2 fans.
2 days a year in the UK, you need AC. 2 days a year. And to be fair, you can do without it, because then if you haven't got it, it gives you something extra to moan about.
There you go.
So there you go.
You need heat, though. Everyone needs heat.
You always need the heat.
Yeah. But it is time. I mean, it's at least as we're, it's cooling down here. I always say, first week of November, end of the first week of November, into the second week of November, that's when we're getting the good weather. The humidity's dying. It'll be next week.
Yeah.
So that date stamped us a little bit there, but typically second week of November in Dubai, humidity's gone. It's 6 months of great weather. That opens up that window, and those people in the northern hemisphere who are much more north, good time to start thinking about getting that AC and getting those things looked at before the big rush. It's kind of like the Colin "we will fix it" model. When it's not a push for those things to get repaired, good time to go get them checked out.
Yeah, I mean, from a point of view of cost as well. So the refrigerant gas that we have to put into an AC system, the oils that we have to put into the AC system, they're cheaper this time of year.
See, but this is not. I'm notorious by saying, well, you know what? I don't need to go get my AC service now because I got 6 months before I'm going to use it again. I'll wait. When really I should be getting that thing serviced right now because it's more cost effective.
So you've got two situations there. Like you mentioned, we will fix it. We're the same. They're doing residential AC. We're doing automotive AC. Effectively similar. The same, using different gases, and obviously automotive AC is a lot less reliable because it has to move with an engine that's moving. So there you go. But we have supply and demand, just as anybody does. And refrigerant and oil for AC systems gets hedged, like most commodities, by most suppliers. But they can't keep it on a shelf forever. They've got to sell it, and this time of year prices start to go down, so you'll have a situation where if I go and buy 3 15 kilo canisters of R134A, then I might get one for free.
Wow.
Whereas in July, I'm not going to get one for love nor money. So my cost is higher than it is right now. Now they try and give a better price to us because they need to get rid of it. We're not going to have a warehouse full. We're going to have 3 or 4 cans lying around that we know we've got when we need them, but we'll use them in a few months. But we put prices down to bring people in for what is traditionally a slow period for AC, because we want people to come in. We're a business, we need people to come in, and as ugly as that sounds out loud, we are trying to incentivize somebody to come to the garage because we need to pay salaries and pay bills and eat food, so that's just the way it is. However, anybody that is sensible enough, anyone that, you know, the kind of people that would get a newspaper and go through and pull the coupons out and go to the supermarket with a handful of coupons, this is the time to do it. And it's so easy. You know, there's less backlog in a workshop. So for example, if a workshop has an AC specialist, that guy's going to be busy. It doesn't matter what country you're in, he or she is going to be busy in May, in the Northern Hemisphere, in May to August. Now, not so much. Now's the time. Go in there, you're likely to get it looked at the same day and fixed the same day if needed. A service will put you on the track. And if you have a service done on your AC now and something's noticed, like your compressor's getting a bit weak or you have got a small leak somewhere, well, okay, how much is it going to be to fix? Fine. And as long as it isn't something like a seizing compressor or a huge leak where oil's leaking out so the compressor is going to seize, you're not putting your engine at any risk of a belt breaking or anything like that.
Right.
So you can say, okay, well, it's going to be 4,000 dirhams. I can save that. I'll budget for that till April and I'll book it in. Book it in advance, agree a price, pay a down payment on it, fix the price in, and then you know that by the time April comes around, you need the extra money to come in and get it sorted. Because if April comes around and you haven't done that, and then May comes around and it's getting a bit hot, you turn on the AC, that's not good, it's not working very well. Then it's, okay, well, we can't get you in for a few days, and then it's going to take a week to fix, and the part's not available, and it's another 15% higher than it was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, commodities are going up all the time.
There's nothing worse than, I got a price, and then you get there and it's like, well, but that was 6 months ago. Yeah. Now it's 25% more.
First time in truth, the first time in the 5 years that we've done work with We Will Fix It, but at the end of September we had to give them an increase. They've actually had decreases in real terms, and they're still a lot less than what they were paying in 2016 or whatever it was. But we've had to give them a price increase because our commodity price, oil, steel, everything's increased. Shipping, ridiculous. I don't know what the hell's going on with shipping.
It's a crisis. It's a container crisis. Yeah. I was listening to something actually the other day, and so we got the chip problem. We're not talking chips today, but we've talked about this ad nauseum.
Yeah.
That is affecting automotive delivery, but also just-in-time delivery of products has got a problem. Yep. Then if you've got to ship anything, and I don't just mean in ships, but I mean trucking, these things get put in containers. There aren't enough truckers. There are backlogs at ports that are shipping things out, so getting them on the boats, getting them in the containers, not enough containers, not enough people to move the containers, not enough ships moving, but demand is still there.
Yeah.
And so we've got multiple issues going on with logistics that are affecting everything.
We've got containers in all of in both, like I'm some sort of giant. We've got 2 garages, and both of them have containers for offices. Now that's simply because we don't need to attach anything to the wall, affect the structure of the building, and they're warehouses with containers in. So it's not a problem. We don't need any special approvals or anything like that. They're really easy to adapt and modify. If we want to change the look, we can. So they work, and it's an easy thing to replicate. So if we do take another garage somewhere else, we can do the same thing. Now, the first garage we did at the start of lockdown, so way back, we got 3 containers. This one, we've done 2, slightly different layout, and we've done 2. These 2 cost more than the 3 did. And a friend of mine likes the containers. If we had the space and the time, we'd probably go into doing stuff with these containers, but he wants to get some back to the UK to use to build a house with on some land that he owns. So we approached a shipping company for shipping the container. Because the containers that we're using are obviously not seaworthy containers, because you don't want to waste a seaworthy container, there's already a shortage, and you'd be paying 25, 30k in dirhams for a seaworthy container, at least. Non-seaworthy ones, they're costing about 6,000 or 7,000 dirhams now. To ship one, they want 9,500 dirhams. Because they can't put anything in it, so that means that's the cost of a container. So if you've got 9,500 dirhams just to ship a container, you've got to put the stuff in there, pay duty on the stuff that's in there, frightening.
Yeah.
And then what was a 3 to 4 week deal is now 6 to 8.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very, very difficult. And so, ultimately what we're saying is, because everything's going up in price, the time to do stuff like AC is when the prices are as low as they're going. Yeah. Because by the time summer comes around, I don't know what's going to happen. The prices have gone up, and they'll probably continue to go up. So by the time summer comes around, you could be talking 10, 15, 20% more than what it would be if you were quoted today. And that's not normal. It's unprecedented. So AC is the time to get the AC looked at and get it repaired, or at least budget for it down the line.
I got an interesting one that happened this week to a friend of mine. They were in a minor car accident.
Okay.
Crazy driver, weaving through traffic, going way too fast, misjudged the cars they were weaving through, clipped him in the backside as they were going through. So took off the back, hit back quarter panel, the wheel, gone, as far, punctured, took off a little bit of the bumper. His car was incapacitated. And then they weaved through another car, and after it clipped the other car too, then hit a guard wall, did a massive flip, something out of a movie, all happened in like 4 seconds. And so there we got now multiple cars, one person really injured, fortunately not the person who I'm talking about, but the driver of that crazy vehicle, seriously injured because of stupidity.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring this story up is because the person I'm talking about was driving, who's the car that was incapacitated, was driving a long-term rental from one of the rental companies.
Right, okay.
And what a great way to actually have a car. Like, you never want to have to use your insurance or anything.
Yeah.
But has this problem, it's not his fault, obviously gets the police report and everything. But on site, the rental company is there with the tow truck, takes the car away, but gives him a loaner right on the spot. So, he doesn't have to worry about, okay, now I got to get a taxi home.
Yeah.
Got to get this sorted out. I got to get another car. Oh, what am I going to do with this car? Literally, he said they showed up. He made the call. They were there with a replacement car and did the swap. And, it's like, okay, get us the police report and that, but we'll get another car to you, and we'll get you back in the same car you're driving very shortly. But here's something to tide you over. And I thought, that's fantastic. Yeah,
and there are benefits too. Again, like we've just been saying about budgeting with car repairs, by getting them in and with the rental, you know what you're going to pay for the rest of the year. The thing is that money at the end of the year, you don't get it back.
Well, that's the thing. So it is clearly a give and take. Like,
good for budgeting.
Yeah, like that okay, I'm spending $3 whatever a month, and that's everything. It's all in. My insurance, my maintenance, it's all in.
Yeah.
It's not yours at the
end
of the
day. Not your fuel, by the way. You can't just keep driving it. You do have to still put fuel in it.
Yeah. Which has gone up again. I don't understand.
Of course it has.
It's gone up another, marginally here, but it's still gone up. And
somebody's going to have to pay for all this, James.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to pay. I don't know who it is. I don't know if I can blame Brexit for that, but I'm British, so we blame it on Brexit on most things.
I don't know. It's annoying.
Yeah, but no, there is a lot of benefits. There's a lot of positives, and as a business owner for fixing cars, it's not ideal for me to tell people to rent a car. But ultimately, if you're on a budget and it's a tight one, which a lot of people are these days, salaries haven't fully recovered, I don't think. And
people, we were talking in a couple other podcasts today that people are losing their jobs.
Yeah, still. Yeah.
There's still uncertainty of what's going to happen in 6 months for a lot of folks. Year end.
You've got things, you've got things like, we're lucky here because of the climate we're in. and there is so much to do outside now. Like everything can be done outside. You want to go to the cinema, go to the outdoor cinema. So you would think we've got through holiday season, most of the festivities have passed us now until next year. So there's no real reason for huge gatherings. Obviously there's New Year, which is you're not going to be able to see for people and fireworks.
Russell came. I saw in the paper yesterday.
Going
Rack.
for another one.
They want to set new Guinness records.
Yeah. That was fantastic when we lived up there.
So I'm thinking New Year's. I'm heading down Rackway.
Amazing it was. It was really good. We lived up there and we could watch it from the house. It was fantastic. But yeah, like
everyone's converging on Andrew Thomas's parents' place. They're still in Rack, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're converging on their place.
I sit and I'll let them know.
Yeah, let them know. Everyone's coming. The entire PODAHOLIKS team and families are coming to their place.
Alhambra Village is a place to be. So, yeah, like we've got a really good rate at the minute of cases. You know, the numbers are down, but we've got good weather to be outside.
Absolutely.
Places like the UK,
it's indoor time now, baby.
Everyone's in the pub, sat around a fire.
Yeah, well, the pub closes at 8 o'clock, right? What time do they close?
24 hours now. Most of them are 24 hours.
I was in Windsor, but my kids were really small. We were at Legoland.
Yeah.
And I thought, we're going to go to the pub and get some fish and chips. Get to the pub, it's closed. So I say to the guy coming, I said, I'm thinking North America, 2 a.m.
Yeah. Most pubs now have got like
they've got the late night crowd.
The late night licenses, and then a lot of them 24.
I'm glad.
But,
so everyone's in the pub. They're sitting around the fire. I've watched Ted Lasso. I get the idea. Of the pub.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
so
homey.
everyone's in the pub, and it's just like sat round, and then that's just the way it is. Yeah, that's just the way it is. And
sneezing, coughing.
Exactly,
people are shedding this virus. It's gonna go up.
Have a drink. Taste that. Is that off to you? That's what people do.
They're done.
That's what people do. And then not to sort of bring a grey cloud over the podcast, and we need to move on, obviously. But what is going to happen? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to happen. If there's going to be a massive upsurge in cases again, and how does that affect us? And do we just say, forget about it, we're sick of it? And will there be any kind of desire or appetite or willingness from anybody in a place like the UK to say, all right, we'll go back into another lockdown, no problem? Because I don't think there will.
I don't think anyone wants to go into another lockdown.
There's more chance of a complete overturning of the government before that happens. I think. Yeah. Not that any government could have done any better, but it is what it is. That's just how that's how we react, right? So who knows what happens in that case? Yeah. We then all of a sudden here say, all right, you're not coming in from the UK anymore.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's a lot of tourists though.
Yeah, I know.
Expos going on.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows what's to come? And you can't have uncertainty, and therefore, is it the right time to go and buy yourself a Range Rover or any car that you've wanted to own for a long time? Because you can't, because you're thinking, well, the prices are high. Because we talked about it last week. Prices are high, so we can't necessarily afford the car anyway. And what if you lose your job, or what if prices just drop out and then you lose 20k on the used car? That's ridiculous, and you've got no job and you can't sell it. And so a rental is a great option if you need to budget, and there are some good rental companies out there.
Yeah, pick wisely.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely do that. Try and find someone that already does it.
Yeah.
If you work for a big company or something, a colleague that's doing the same or whatever it may be, an international brand.
They tend to be might pay a little bit more, but there's a lot of reliability in it. Yeah. And that's exactly the person I was talking about had an international brand.
Exactly. Somebody that's got a Twitter account. Yeah. You can go on their Twitter account and say, okay, they respond to people. Because then when and if you do have a problem, then you're going to get some response if you don't get the customer service you want immediately. And these guys aren't necessarily ignoring you, they're just busy. They're no different to any other company. They've had staff shortages and they've got layoffs to mean that one person's doing what previously was two people's job.
It's crazy. Yeah. Last week when we were literally in the car park, you were getting into your Jeep. I was getting into my Jeep. You were getting into I was getting into the Wrangler. You were getting into a Grand Cherokee.
Yeah, the living room on wheels.
Yeah.
Amy loves those cars.
Who wouldn't?
So the S6 is ready, right? V10 S6, right? The same engine and brakes that they use in the Lamborghini stuff of the same era. She says to me, "Oh yeah, well now it's fixed. We'll sell it and you can get us a Jeep. Get out." So I filed the divorce papers. However, you can't have car abuse as a reason.
Amy is sensible because
There's no way a Jeep's better than an Audi.
Life always feels better in a Jeep.
I do like the Grand Cherokee. I do like the problem with the Grand Cherokee is the same problem with the Porsche Boxster. So the Grand Cherokee is a great car and it looks great, but you'll always pull up next to an SRT.
Yeah.
And and the Boxster, what a great car, a smile on your face, and then someone pulls up next to you in a Cayman or a 911, even worse. And it's like,
yeah,
should have waited.
Yeah.
Saved up for a couple more years.
Yeah.
That's the problem. But then again, I prefer the Overland to the SRT because the SRT is ridiculous. It's a bit too mental for me.
Speaking of Porsches, we'll come back to Amy and getting a Jeep, and I think, honestly, just get a Jeep.
It's not happening.
Just get a Jeep.
Happy wife, happy life. I'm not buying a Jeep.
Just get the Jeep.
No.
Yeah. I mean, just take it from me. Just get the Jeep.
You've got two.
I've got two. Imtishan would always say, do you remember? Imtishan and Brown Car Guy, they'd always say, we'd be talking cars. Yeah, that's the car I want. He goes, they look at me, really? Really? You would give up your Jeep? He's like, no. Well, then don't even talk about it then.
Yeah.
I was this weekend. I was up in Quain doing my sound therapy with Marco Zigon, and at first time I've ever had a ride in a Porsche, the four-wheeler there, the Cayenne.
Cayenne, okay.
First time I had a ride in one, I wasn't impressed, and it was a fully stocked model. It was nice. It was beautiful looking, and I got in, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I was underwhelmed.
They're not a big car inside.
No.
They're still designed to be a bit of just a four-wheel off-road sports car, basically.
Like there was four of us in it, and don't get me wrong, it was comfortable and it looked nice, but I was just a little, I don't know what I was expecting. I have no idea. I was totally underwhelmed though. I kind of went,
Yeah, I think that, with the Cayenne, and obviously the Touareg, and they're based on the same car, basically, the same car. They sort of went into the kind of, I suppose you'd say, SUV space. But they couldn't go after a Range Rover because no one's going to get close. Jeep Grand Cherokee's kind of nailed down the next best thing, and they've sort of gone for the sporty aspect. And it's neither here nor there on one of them.
Yeah.
They're not very big. I can fit in one comfortably, but no one can sit behind me in a Cayenne.
Okay.
But very well equipped inside.
Yeah.
Great engines, great brakes, amazing suspension. But they're not. It's not a Grand Cherokee in terms of comfort, that's for sure. And the seating position is not a Range Rover, so it's neither here nor there. I do like them, but I see what you're saying.
You know what got me was it has this particular model had that complete moonroof kind of thing, and it just has a cloth cover that goes over.
Right, yeah.
And I was looking
at
the
mesh.
Yeah, it was mesh. I'm just looking at it going, really? And I just felt that I was getting it just felt cheap to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cheap when they break.
No.
It's not if, it's when.
It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, so once that breaks, it's okay, wind it back. So the little nice aluminium bar, brushed steel bar, whichever one they've gone for, can go all the way back, and then we just put 90% tint on because nobody's paying 6,000 dirhams to fix it.
6,000 dirhams. Wow. Yeah, 90% tint. Be done with it. It just felt. I don't know. I was just underwhelmed. It was nice, but it did leave me going. Yeah, I wouldn't buy one.
Which model was it?
No, I don't know.
Did it have all the pilot switches around the gear lever? Did it have loads of switches?
Yeah.
It's not the current one. It's the one before.
Yeah.
The current one's really nice. The current one's less messy inside.
Oh, okay.
They've gone more towards the sort of.
There was a lot of action. I was in the back seat. There was a lot of action just for the AC stuff.
For the rear AC.
I was like, going, man, this is really busy here.
Yeah, kind of like a cockpit in a plane.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool if you were like that. I thought it must be really neat at night because it would all be lit up.
Yeah. Now the new one's kind of gone the whole Volvo and Tesla way with a few switches, but a screen and
everything. What you got to do.
Yeah.
At this point. You're done for if you don't do that.
Yeah, and there's no longer do controls have to be intuitive because touchscreen is intuitive.
Yeah.
You know, Amy went through. She took so the girls are off school. May's got a parent-teacher day, and Alma can't go to school, can't go to nursery because she sneezed once.
Well, there you go.
Ridiculous. So
I sneezed at yoga yesterday. I thought I was going to get carried out. I was like, I'm trying to hold it in. It's
I know, like the
I'm
struggle is
sneezing
real,
into my
right?
arm. It's like, I'm looking around. It's like, no, it's okay. No COVID. I'm okay.
Carry around a pot of pepper. I'm like, oh, sorry, it's just pepper. So they're at home, and she'd taken a video of them dancing around and stuff. So she went on the camera roll to send me the video, and then found there must be 150 selfie videos, selfie pictures that the 3-year-old, who was 3 a couple of weeks ago, has taken on an iPhone. She can do the pin. So there's no more. You know, you get into a car and you know I can hear it in my head. A fifth gear or a top gear from the UK review of the controls are so intuitive. Everything's where you'd expect it to be. Or these controls are ridiculous. Why have I got this and this? And not anymore. Because everything's on the screen and everyone uses a touch screen. Yeah. Or, you know, they just want to press a screen and see what it's doing. There's no control. I remember when the Golf 6 came out, the heated rear window. So the switch for the side mirrors. So the side mirror adjustment, there's a rotary knob, like a joystick.
Yeah. Classic.
Still use the same sort of thing now. And you'd have left, right, off, and then at the bottom was heated. So the problem was that from where they put the switch in the driver's seat, you couldn't actually see what it was on. So the positions of the dot on the knob were not centralised. Oh. So then we'd have customers coming and saying, my adjustment knob's broken. No, it isn't. This picture's been moved so you can see it. Oh, well, that's not very good. Yeah. So you're wasting my time. Don't call me about that. I'm just telling you how it is. I can get you a new one, but read the manual. That's how it is. If the picture was there where the dots lined up with, you wouldn't see what it was, and that's why they've moved it. And that was a genuine complaint for people now. That was just that, and that's you're talking a decade ago. It's not like it's forever ago.
Kick them to the curb. Get out of here.
But you can't. Obviously, you can't. But then now that doesn't matter. Nobody wants any of that.
Right.
You know, and you've got 3, 4, 5 settings on everything now. You know? Yeah. We had a Mustang in, and a lot of the Fords now come with the My Key, which is you can program certain things for certain keys. So if you've got, in this case, a Mustang and your son's going to use it, you can set the rev limiter on it, and you can set the top speed on it, and you can this, that, and the other. In fact, no, you can't do the rev limiter. You can do the top speed. I don't know why you can't do the rev limiter. You should be. That's the one that's important.
I want them both.
But you can do the top speed. You can set the lights to be a certain colour and certain things that you can and can't adjust, and everything else.
And then when they get going too far, you can have a little image of me come up on the touchscreen. Oh no, you don't.
That'd be great.
No.
Great, yeah, like Q on James Bond. But no, you've got the problem is then once you've set that key to that, unless you've still got the master admin key, you can't reset that.
Well, everyone loses that.
So then when you lose the other key,
you're done for.
Yeah. So customer had to come in and we had to make them a new key, which was blank, which we could then put in as a master key. And it's like 2,000 dirhams later. This is what people want though. And this is what people are told they want.
Yeah.
And gone are the days of a mechanical 4x4 shift. Gone are the days of...
No, I got one of those. I got the knob. You pull that sucker in, and I love that.
But nothing else. No. There's not been anything else now. That even turning a heater on or off. There's no rotary switch, no slide switch. It's all
electronic.
So there's literally zero character to the inside of a car, apart from it looking like a kitchen showroom.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to pander to you, but I'm not. Everyone knows, as much as I'm warm to electric cars, the Tesla just doesn't get my mojo going. I mean, I like it that they're first out there, and I see them on the road. And I've always said, can't wait for the old school to start biting on the E vehicles.
Yeah.
saw the ad for the 100% electric e-tron, or whatever it is.
Audi e-tron.
Yeah. Wow.
I know.
Just the profile. I just saw the backside of it, and
I know.
And I just took one look up there and said, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was one at the Autodrome the other week. DJ was over there on the weekend.
Absolutely spectacular looking. I didn't even see the inside. I just went, the look of that, it has character, and that's what. Because I was thinking, why do I like that? Not this and that. Character. It has some character.
It still looks like an Audi, right?
Yeah.
See, the thing with the Teslas is that they don't. What does a Tesla look like?
I don't know. It looks like a Tesla.
You know, cars had to have grills for cooling, so they get a face. I mean, I don't know what BMW have done with the front of their current ones. What is that?
I don't know. Someone fell asleep.
Oh.
Someone
was having like hallucinogenic dreams about some sort of beaver infestation where they lived, and they just said, "Oh, we'll make the front end look like a beaver then." But no, I don't know. You know, it's a difficult one with Tesla. They've obviously thought, well, we don't need a grill because we don't need the cooling. There's so much there.
But
so we'll make them. I think they're not aging very well. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They've probably gotten over a lot of their production issues with panel gaps and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
So
but, you know, some of the older ones you notice that a little bit more. But I don't know. Just they look like they look, and when I see that fully electric Audi, I just went, wow, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, it was like yesterday when we talk about electric cars. I did see it yesterday. I saw a Tesla, and then right beside it, the Tesla over. So this is, you know, in a 60-kilometer zone. Tesla's passing a Mustang Roush version, and you know the Roush was, and he was going slow because the Tesla passed him.
Yeah.
But it was still going.
Yeah.
You know, at 60 kilometers an hour, and I'm like behind it in the Jeep, and I'm just going, I'll take that Roush.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, the problem is we drove that. We drove that.
Whatever that was, that Mustang.
It was we call it the black edition or something like that, didn't they? And because it had black mirrors and black bits in it. But we you know, when we drove that, we turned the exhaust off.
Yeah, after 30 minutes, and we said, oh yeah, listen to this, and we did like everyone, right? Where do you give the exhaust some gun? Going in an underpass. That's the only place you do that. And then we turned it off. We was like, yeah, okay, now let's turn it on to Old Man Drive.
Yeah, there's something about a Tesla getting into one. To be fair, you expect some sort of, you know, classical music to be playing on in the background, and it's really serene and calm. There's no engine noise, and there's a lot to be said for that. And that's just the way motoring goes and is going. And you know, Formula E, those things that, you know, amazing speed. There's just a disconnect now between the next generation of car buyers and what we would think, and that's just something we have to accept. You know, there's certain things you can't make on TV anymore. Yeah. You know, there's certain things that can't be said in stand-up comedy anymore. There's certain things that you can't say at all anymore, which we might have thought of or accepted as acceptable 10 years ago even.
You have to be careful. You just never know. You're going to say that, I can't say that.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, there's just...
So everyone's going to go, what is it you can't say?
Well, yeah.
You know.
Just, you know, I think Chappelle's latest Netflix one is, So, you know, there's a lot of stuff to consider in every aspect of life, not just cars. They're no different. They're becoming a mobile phone, which I think we've said before. They're just a fashion accessory at the minute. And just like the Toyota Prius was originally, everyone in California had one to say, "Oh, look how much I care about the environment."
They've aged well, though. They in the body style.
But there was a Toyota, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was different, but it was a Toyota. At least they had a. It was going to look like a Toyota. Yeah. You could see the breed.
Yeah.
Tesla have done a cracking job, and they're unfortunate in the fact that they're new to the new market, and so they didn't really have. They're never going to get close to Porsche, Audi, VW. Yeah. You know, they're just not. When those guys, and they are doing the ID4, the ID3 from VW, the Audi e-tron GT. I think there's a Q6 coming out as well, electronic, and then the Taycan. I think the Taycan boasts one of the longest ranges as well at the minute. So you know, there's a lot they're going to struggle to compete with, because those cars will have character, because it will still look like a Porsche. It's still, I mean, those Taycans are head turners. They're absolutely ridiculously good looking. So, you know, those fashion sides of them, the cosmetic sides of cars. Tesla, they're going to struggle, I think. Yeah. But then, like I said, that's me and you.
Yeah, well, that's it. And you know, I always go back to the gentleman we had in from Range Rover. We were talking about the Evoque, which, quite frankly, I can't stand the look of the Evoque. Maybe the convertible version.
Yeah, I think you've said before the convertible.
But otherwise, and I like it when the roof's down. And when the roof's up, it looks kind of cool. But that's the only one I like. And that guy was kind of offended when I was saying that, because he was going, well, glad we didn't listen to you, because this is our best-selling Range Rover.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He says, so you're in the minority, my friend.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I am, but I would feel miserable driving that car.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's beautiful inside when you drive it, I'm sure. I mean, I'm
No, look, I mean, I'm just looking now for an article that I found the other day on Car and Driver, which was to do with the actual real life, real world environmental impact of electric vehicles, right?
Oh man, I mean, look, we've said it over and over and over again. Unless your electricity that's going into your electric car is being generated cleanly, which means wind, solar, hydro, wave, maybe nuclear, but again, you've got to dispose of the waste.
Yeah.
So that puts that one probably out too. If you're not doing one of these clean energy forms, so you need to live in Sweden, parts of northern Canada, parts of the UK as well, but unless you've got clean energy fueling your vehicle, it's just a dirty vehicle.
Well, yeah, now, so this, like I say, so hat tip for Car and Driver here, and the article is called Are EVs Actually Environmentally Friendly? It was interesting to me because these guys did a baseline carbon footprint, so for production from day one of driving the vehicle, and obviously the EV is a lot more polluting to make. And in the case of so we've got three categories: small car, crossover, and pickup truck. So obviously an American study. So small car, the baseline was 5 metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions to produce. A small car in terms of an EV, which you would imagine would be a Model 3, 12 metric tons.
Yikes.
So you're already 7, and the break-even point comes after 27,000 miles. Now at 27,000 miles, that means for a small car, an EV is probably good, because most people will keep a car 45, 50,000 miles before, even 100,000 miles. By the time you get to 100,000 miles, you're at double greenhouse emissions on the internal combustion as to what you are on the EV, so that's cool.
Yeah.
The one that was interesting for me was the crossover, because that break-even point didn't come till 40,000 miles.
Yikes.
Now, 40,000 miles could take somebody 5 years if you do 8,000 miles a year.
Yeah. You might be only keeping that car 5 years.
How long does the batteries last?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So if you're doing 40,000 miles over 5 years, that's 8,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
How long does the battery last? If you've then got to put, most of that greenhouse emission is the battery production.
And how long does the battery last in your phone? When you start thinking about this, it's only a couple of years, 3 or 4
I mean,
years.
obviously, so on an EV, this is something that's quite important. In fairness, on an EV, there are, even though it will tell you it's empty and it won't do anything, and it will tell you it's full and you can't charge it anymore, the batteries protect themselves from full discharge and full recharge to keep their life as long as possible. But even if you're told 7 to 10 years on a battery, at 5 years, that's 2 years away potentially from having to have a new battery. And then how much, so the baseline of that crossover was 18 metric tons. That's 3 times the internal combustion engine, and it takes 40,000 miles to break even. If you have a problem with the battery, if you have an accident, in 40,000 miles there's a possibility. If the battery has to be replaced, how much of that, I would assume the difference, because a car's a car, the difference in the baseline of 12 metric tons comes from pretty much the battery and the wiring associated with it. So you've got to replace most of that. You can, what do we add, another 5? Then does the break-even point become 70,000?
Something to think about.
And this is interesting. Now, this study was based on a 50% renewable charging network, and apparently there are some states in America that in some months of this year, I want to say Washington,
could be,
were 100% renewable. So they had a situation where they were 100% renewable. And there's been times this year in the UK, I remember saying that some of the national grid got as high as 75% on renewable at some parts of the day. So that's good. You know, if we can get to renewable energy grids, then no problem. But there's just, to me, there's that whole production, environmental cost of production of the battery that is, and then disposal.
Well, I mean, that's the one that kills me. No one's talking about that yet.
Yeah.
And I kind of take it down to the A380. Now, here's the link. The first Emirates Airbus A380 has been decommissioned, and they're actually going to dispose of it here in the UAE. They're taking it apart. They're going to sell some pieces of it and make some memorabilia, but they are going to take it apart and dispose of it efficiently here.
I'll have one of the engines for a van. See if we can get that going.
So I thought this is really interesting because Volvo is miles ahead with this in their thinking. But generally speaking, all these vehicles, you can't just dump it in landfill now because you got a huge battery in it. And that battery's got to be taken out and done, who knows what done with it. And who's doing that? And where are we going to do that? And we already know that EnviroServe is only working at about 20% of its capacity for recycling e-waste. Maybe they've got a plan, but I just don't hear where that thinking is going place. And why I go back to the A380 is the company that's doing it in the article, so it's a new company here or an old company.